All right, I got Stevie out again. I've got my employees training right behind the camera here. So got a couple clients, a dog, Leah, and I want to kind of show you how you might work the dogs through stimulation. So you're in a busy area, you know, and sometimes when it's really busy, there's so much going on, it's hard for the dog to know what to pinpoint. So oftentimes, you know, people and stuff, they just become, it becomes normalized, so they stop trying to run at it. You know, you think about all the people on Maine, most of them don't want to interact with the dogs, so they kind of learn, these people aren't here for me. But in isolated situations, like maybe there's one person or one dog, oftentimes dogs will target and start pulling. Now, if it were my dog and they were pulling towards everything, even if there was a lot of traffic, a lot of foot traffic, I would say they're not ready for that, and I would focus on long line work. I would focus on low stimulation, long line work, and desensitizing them to the stimulus and from a distance before I would take them on a walk down Main Street. So that's how my brain works, right? The dog will tell me when they're ready. When they walk on heel and ease and they don't try to pull at everything that pops up, they're ready. If they're pulling and they're nervous and they keep getting distracted by everything, they're telling me they're not ready. And then I have lots of repetitions to do in a spacious environment before they're ready to go on a walk. So right now, what I want to try to do is desensitize Stevie to stimulation. And I'm going to use the information that I've already given you, which is my Let's Go or my Stevie Come, because those things build pack drive. So that allows me to teach the dog what state of mind I want them to be in when they see people and dogs. Right? So I want to switch the drive. So I'm going to use the Let's Go and the recall, and then I'm going to observe the dog's drives to make a decision about my movement. So if I'm walking a dog and all of a sudden they see another dog and they do that, which is get in front of me, pop their head up, very hard to read Doodles. Prime's got a wrinkle in her forehead and her ears shoot forward. She's easier to read. Doodles are hard to read. So you gotta do the head bob, you know? They're like, huh? Huh? That's prey drive. Their ears shoot forward too, it's hard for people to read. She is in front of me and in prey drive, right? If I have a 6-foot leash on and they do that, it's gonna look like this while they're staring at it. If I keep walking like that, I'm teaching them to pull on the leash and to stare at things in prey drive. I'm teaching them that. I'm rewarding it. I'm incentivizing it. Right? If a dog keeps moving forward and the leash is tense and they're fixated, they will lunge. It's only a matter of time, or vocalize, or freak out. Right? So I always use this example with people. Imagine you, Valerie and Kevin are going on a walk and you guys are hand in hand holding hands. And all of a sudden, Kevin grips Valerie's hand really tight. Right? Your first inclination is going to go, what's wrong? Is everything okay? Because it's not natural to feel that level of tension on yourself all of a sudden, right? So when you're walking a dog, loose leash is hand in hand. Taut leash is you clenching your fist all of a sudden. So if you keep walking, you've just given your dog the indicator that something's wrong. I'm tense, something's wrong. Their automatic response is going to be defensive. Well, what should I do? Should I take care of it? Right? So we can't walk like that. We can't continue to move forward and let them stare and fixate and load on the thing that's worrying them while you are unintentionally delivering a message of tension. You know, my hand is clenched, the leash is taut. So what needs to happen is turning. Turning gets their brain back with you. It reorients them. It puts them in pack drive. It teaches them how to see the stimulus in the right drive as well. So there she goes. She's staring at my client, or my employee and her client. Stevie, come. Hi. And you know, you can do this with Prime at a park. Even in the next, week plus, as you're waiting on Stevie to come back, is go to a park with Prime and start practicing this, right? Let's go. So how that would look is, okay, I got my long line, I see a dog, I'm gonna walk my dog towards that dog, I'm gonna see what they do, right? Prime is going to scrunch her forehead up and perk her ears forward. When you add tension to that, you're gonna get a lunge, or at least a vocalization possibly, right? So instead of that, back up, do this. Now, if you give them 15 feet of line and back up, and they turn around back towards you and group up with you, then their awareness of you is building, right? If you back up and they don't turn with you and they just stay locked on, they don't even know where you're at. And this is why we have to do stuff like this, because we got to get the brain established. You have to know where your handler is at all times. Let's go. Good girl. So in Stevie's case, I'm going to stop walking when I see that she shoots forward towards the stimulus, or if she pops her head up and kind of, what is that? Do I need to take care of that? And when I see that, I'm gonna back up, see what she does. Good. And again, that's when you're gonna add the let's go or the recall, Sit. So if you stop, you back up, you have line. You either say let's go and turn them the other way and walk the opposite direction, or you say come and get them to come over to you and sit. Hey, can I do this real quick? I always have to loosen it at the end because it kind of pulls on her eyelids. But eyes are important. You gotta be able to see, at least if you have sight. Let's go. Good girl. Good girl. So whenever you're walking a dog, you don't walk with them when they're in front or in prey drive. Or especially if that prey drive gets locked and they start to escalate, right? You don't want to walk with that. So the first thing you do is you stop and test them. Now, this is now look at her. I mean, I stopped and she turned around and looked at me. I don't really care anymore about that. I'm over this. Great. Now, this is a desensitization phase of training. So she's given this to me once over this form of stimulus, and that's great. And she's going to give it to me. She's going to give me this level of attentiveness more and more and more as I continue to present these types of situations to her and teach her through these repetitions what it is I want her to do and what position I want her to be in and what state of mind I want her to be in. And what's going to end up happening is that's going to become the new Stevie, right? Stevie's trained herself so far to be the way that she is. And so by doing these repetitions, you're conditioning her to, instead of moving towards a dog, staying with you. Instead of fixating on people, look at you. But you got to do the repetitions. It doesn't just translate home from a board and train. So you're going to have to do this with her and probably with Prime too, because it sounds like Prime's unraveled a bit. So that you get these dogs paying attention to their handler instead of paying attention to the external world and staying in prey drive so much. Let's go. Good. So you take Prime to that park and you start walking towards the stimulus and you're going to watch her and you're going to see, this is prey drive by the way, her head is raised. Prime will have a crease in her forehead and erect ears. And then when you see her in that state of mind, you're going to back up in your line. Prime come, or Stevie come. You'll say Prime come. I'm going to say Stevie come. No, come, no. I mean, you can park right here. This is an alleyway. So what's good is that right now, I've got someone parking right here. Make sure I have enough battery life for this video. My camera's starting to die. I've got someone that just pulled up my alleyway right here to the right. So I can work her off a different form of stimulus. Right? So right now, watch her. Her attention actually is ping pong. What I mean by ping pong is going, oh, okay, I see that. And if you notice, who cares about where I'm at, right? This is why this long line work is really important, because it's going to assess where their brain is. You have an opportunity, Steve's not with me anymore, to actually start trying to really use the full extension of your line and see if this dog has any awareness of where you are in terms of her. If the dog is not aware of where you are in terms of your space and just continues to fixate on outside stimulus, don't walk them. And also, you have work to do because you're not relevant. If you don't have these types of relationships with your dog where you're relevant and they can actually see where you're at when these forms of stimulus pop up, it's going to be really hard to have control over them in any situation. And they're going to be selective listeners. That's just the nature of a dog, right? They can't listen to someone who they can't see. So right now, she's so concerned with Eddie. Stevie, come. Good. Sit. Let's go. So right there, she was so concerned with Eddie that I became very irrelevant. And it's like, okay, well, I'm definitely not taking Stevie on a walk anytime soon, because anytime anything new pops up in the environment, she always cares way more about it than me. And so if I keep moving forward in that state of mind, then she's always going to care about more stuff than that stuff with me, because I'm not discouraging it and I'm not redirecting it and I'm not teaching her what state of mind to be in. I'm actually incentivizing it by moving forward and allowing her to load deeper and deeper into that state of mind, that state of prey drive that's sending her so far out into the outside world. Turns are amazing, you guys. Seriously. Like, turning a dog, redirecting a dog, and recalling a dog is so incredible for your relationship. It will get you so much further, so much faster with both of your dogs. And the thing about my training is that I am teaching you a foundation of a lifetime. So anytime that things get worse you go back to what the foundation I taught you, you know? If my dogs, which heaven forbid, but if my dogs started to regress on a leash walk, then I'm gonna go back to long line work. I'm not gonna keep walking them. It's not working, right? So all these things, you can even go back and watch the videos I sent you of Prime. They should be in our text message history if you scroll back. But even rewatching those is helpful, reminding yourself of prey drive and adrenaline and long line work and how to get them into pack drive and different ways to get them into pack drive. Because you know, as you've texted me over the last several months and started to kind of explain, come here, look, that crime is regressing, you know, this is a foundation of a lifetime. This is always something you can go back to remind them, hey, I need you in pack drive. I need your attention. I'm relevant. Remember, like, I am very important. It seems simple, so simple that it might not even seem like there's a point at times. But honestly, I could take a really high pack drive dog who doesn't even want to leave the heel position and spin in circles for, well, spin, that's neurotic. Turn in circles for 15 minutes straight and tire them out faster than going on a 2-mile walk. So it just creates this mentality of I need to pay attention. I never know where she's gonna go. I need to stay in pack drive. Keep my eye on the handler. Good girl. The more eye contact I get, the more moments of her looking up at me, checking in with me, stopping when I stop, and of course this is all loose leash, then the more progress I know I'm making. Let's go. Continue to do these repetitions until she's pretty much not concerned with it anymore, right? So I'm not just going to turn her once and walk away. I'm actually going to keep repeating the process over and over and over again, just like I did in my driveway just now, until I can actively see that her concern is more in me than them. Another dog just came out, so we've got another working opportunity here. Stevie, come. Yeah. So if you watch this, I'm going to be moving back and forth a lot. She cares more about that dog. I back up. Stevie, come. No, I'm not walking away. I'm not leaving. I didn't say the session was over. I'm desensitizing. Next step. Can you do this? What are you going to do this time? That's not what I want. Stevie, come. Good girl. She's looking at me when she walks back towards me. So I'm building up that pack drive in a stimulating situation. I back up again because she wasn't with me. Stevie, come. Good. Here, sit. Good job, sweetheart. So I'm going to back up, see what she does. And I'm going to tell you when there it is. Good girl. She chose me, right? So I didn't add leash pressure. I didn't say or anything. I didn't give her a command. She peeled off of that on her own and came with me. Now I'd like to get it to the point where it was a little quicker. So she's peeling off of it at a faster pace and not taking so long. Now I think she has to pee. But that was an example of her choosing me over the stimulus. So when you do this, even if the dog's out of sight and is no longer around, if the dog still cares about it and is still looking for it, the more opportunities you spend getting the dog to choose you over it by repeating yourself over and over and over again until they do, the stronger your relationship will be. And the more attentive your dogs will be wherever you're at. They're always going to be looking for you. my chicken's out now, and the stimulation just keeps piling onto itself. I really am gonna get myself into a ping pong effect here that I don't want to be in. Stevie, come. See, now she's looking at the chickens. Good. See if I can get a better choice here. Let's go. Good. Good. You guys are not going to like to hear this. And I know I've said it to you before, but I'm going to say it to you again. Come. One of the quickest ways to deteriorate your relationship and make yourself less relevant to your dog is to take them to dog parks and daycare. I have to say it. I hate daycares. I will never put my dogs in that situation unless I'm the one who's in charge of the daycare. You are basically sending your dog to a place where the people there don't know anything about dogs and the way they play and the way they communicate with each other. So you have clueless handlers. I don't care what they say. I promise you, they probably don't know much. At least the majority of them don't. With a group of dogs who probably aren't trained, probably aren't very well socialized. They have good temperaments, but you're sending your dogs to hang out with the bad kids. I have seen lots of daycare videos, and I can assure you, and I've also witnessed lots of dog park events. And I will assure you, they're hanging out with the bad kids. So if you want your dog to learn behaviors that are unwanted socially, then go keep sending them to daycare, because that's what they're learning. It's overstimulating, it's over-arousing, it creates an unnecessary amount of adrenaline in their system. Daycares and dog parks are one of the number one reasons for leash reactivity, because dogs are in groups. Another dog comes into the group, they all run at it. You add a leash to that, you're going to get leash reactivity, right? They are training themselves. When I see a strange dog, I run at it and go investigate it. I don't even do that at my house. If I go to socialize a dog in my yard, they're on a leash. They have to choose me first. I will give them permission to say hi to my pack. That's how I do it. Because most of my clients' dogs are leash reactive. They usually bark when they see a dog. So if I encourage them to run at dogs, they don't freaking know if they're on or off leash. All they know is they see a dog and they run at it. So daycares promote leash reactivity. It's unintentional, but it's true. But the reason why it makes you less relevant is because dogs, by nature, are not supposed to have a bunch of friends. They have their pack, and anyone outside of their pack is a threat. That's instinctual to a dog. Humans have come up with this idea in our heads that because they're a social, pack-oriented species, that they want to engage with strangers all the time. That's not true. That's so not true. I've seen it hundreds of times. I've seen it countless amounts of times. Most of them don't even want to engage. It's because it's not natural and it's not instinctual. So when you put them in situations where they're continuously socializing outside of their pack, the pack becomes less relevant. It's just the way it is. I wish it wasn't that way, but it is. So, your dogs are better off sitting in a crate, calmly sleeping, than they are at a facility full of dogs that are creating over-arousal, adrenaline, poor social interaction, interactions, surrounded by people who don't know how to address it and don't know how to actually train it otherwise, and at the same time basically smashing the relevancy that you may have with them into the ground by teaching them to socialize with dogs outside of their pack. I had to say it. I wanted it to be on video so that you could hear it without feeling defensive. I'm not trying to upset you. People have their own ideas, and what I say, you know, oftentimes isn't what people want to hear, and that's fine. You know, you happen to have dogs who are nice and well-tempered. You get a dog down the road that isn't, well, you'll learn that lesson later, because they're going to tell that daycare right away they don't want to be there by attacking another dog. Your dogs wouldn't do that, so you're not seeing that. But I am in no way trying to create a defensiveness in you. I am here to advocate for Stevie and Prime. That's my job. I'm here to educate. That's my job. I know a lot from my experience, and I wish very much to never hear of your dogs going to a daycare or a dog park ever again. But that's not my call. So you'll do you, and I just wanted to make sure to educate you on the why.
Right here, I will start.
Here I am making all these videos to help you build relevancy. So of course I have to add what doesn't build relevancy, and what doesn't build relevancy is daycares and dog parks. So, all right guys, I gotta go.